Oh, amazing. Yeah, he's an amazing actor, an amazing person, and I learned so much from him on set. I remember in one scene, he taught me a technique to like breathe lots before the scene to get your adrenaline rushing and stuff. So and to do like activities to get yourself breathing a lot. So I remember that bit. It was my first role ever.
What?
Yeah, my first role. Yeah, so I was really scared going onto set, but everyone was so nice and it was just a really positive experience. It's such a powerful film and it keeps you on the edge of your seat. It isn't a natural horror, it's more of a psychological horror, and it's so powerful.
It was an amazing experience. I mean, everybody on set, the crew, the cast, and the scenery, it was it was like a family. It's a little bit scary, but it's fun. It's fun. It's tense. James McAvoy, he was amazing. He's one of the best people I've ever worked with. He's so sweet, he's so funny, he's crazy. He just gets right into it. Rehearsal or not, rehearsal or filming, he's always into his character, and he really brings himself into his characters too, which is amazing, and just watching him is really a learning experience too. I don't want to give too much away, but definitely just anything with the whole cast, definitely just everybody together and all of the crew together and everything. And anything in those really scenic areas was a lot of fun.
Incredible experience. He's such an incredible actor, and I can't wait for everybody to see his performance in this. He brings so many colors, so much masculinity, and so much charisma. He's fantastic in the film. Kids were phenomenal. I don't think we could have made the movie without him. Dan really brings it home in the end, but working with everybody on the film was just such a great experience. I know it's a scary film, but there was a lot of laughs when we were shooting the film. Oh, it's great. We were out about an hour and a half west of London in the Cotswold. Beautiful countryside. So I mean, it was really peaceful and nice, and it wasn't so horrific when we were shooting.
It was great. It was so fun. I mean, James is a blast and such a lovely person to work with, and it was fun to clean house in the end. It was amazing. I mean, I love shooting in one place because you really let the environment kind of influence the tone of the movie, and we were in this sort of haunted farmhouse in the Cotswolds. We just had a great time. James did this really amazing thing where he would direct apologies or any sort of group conversation towards my husband, played by Scoot in the movie. And that's such a subtle choice that I think a lot of people identify, or a lot of women, where they get sort of isolated out of a conversation, but you can't point to it right away. And it's like a sort of private barb that's being, stabbed into your side. And that's a red flag.
What was it like to play him? A lot of fun. He's clearly a bad guy, but getting to be funny and weirdly charming at the same time is like a really good tightrope to walk that made it kind of a hard gig, but a good fun hard gig, They're so good in this film, and do you know what? I don't usually need too much of a reminder not to take it too seriously anyway, but when you're doing something scary and kind of malevolent and horrible like this film is, and upsetting like this film is, and horrifying like this film is, in between takes you've got to just lighten it up, because you've got these two kids running around having an amazing time in the English summer, in the English countryside, and they don't need reminded of all the stuff that they're having to do within the take, I've always worried about talking to the couple next to me. Yeah, I think after you've watched this movie, you're definitely going to think twice about hanging out with your vacation friends, definitely. There's a scene where we're all sitting around having dinner in this restaurant, and I'm talking about my parents and stuff, and there's a line that Aisling says to me where she says, "You get longer for murder," and my character laughs at it, and that's probably my favourite bit. But also, actually, Aisling Franciosi is my favourite bit in the whole film, where she looks at her son and she just goes "God, he's rubbish," and you're like, oh, it's so throwaway harsh, but parents can be like that sometimes.
Yeah, it's a ride. Audience have been loving it, and we're looking forward to getting a wider release and getting people in and giving them a real roller coaster. I've wanted to work with James for a while and admired him for a long time, and I wrote the script really with James in mind, so it was fantastic that he said yes. And he's brilliant. He's a force of nature. He's just so naturally talented, but also so committed. Such a great creative partner.
A great villain.
Oh yeah, but a great villain because he's also charming as hell as well. You know, he's fun as much as he is devilish. I just love this idea of a story about two couples that meet on holiday and become vacation friends, and one invites the other over, and it felt really relatable to just everyday lives that we have, you know, and how things can go wrong and the sort of horror of social interaction. Oh, amazing. Yeah, it's completely non-verbal performance, and Dan has never ever acted professionally, ever. So when we screen tested him, I got lots of crew around the camera. I got a big camera out, because half the thing of acting is just the intimidation of all the crew. So he was amazing. He was just so in the moment from the get-go, and like all brilliant actors, he's just imaginatively so there, and yeah, he's a real find. The humor of the film is something I really lent into, and there's a lot of laughs in this movie. It's not, you know, it's got its kind of thrills and darknesses, but it's a real fun ride as well, and that queasiness, that kind of cringe humor is something I really enjoy, and I think audiences will too. I want them to have a really great time in the cinema and to come out slightly exhausted, but in a good way, and they feel like they've been on an amazing roller coaster. But also, it's a film that's about something. You know, it's not just clockwork. It sort of speaks to the world in which we live.